What would you want to be the center of your existence once you're done hating the men? Hi, my name is Erica, and this is Elevated Energy, where we discuss all things personal development, relationships, and spirit. Today, I am going to be discussing a concept that I have been noticing on TikTok and the intranets, and that is this idea of decentralizing men. I watched a string of TikToks, and it was a bunch of women discussing how they had centralized men in their lives in the past, and it had come back to bite them. And essentially, like, kick all the men out of your lives, ladies. We need to get rid of them. They're problematic. Decentralized men. The patriarchy is killing us. Yes. I have to be honest, I found it to be problematic. If you are here feeling like you have centralized men and then it has bitten you and now you're like, decentralized men, everybody. I'm decentralizing men out of my life. Did you hear? I'm decentralizing all the men. I'm getting rid of them all. Get rid of these men. At the center of your decentralized men message, it's still men. I just said men about 20,000 times. Decentralized men. Let's all sit down and talk about how men have done us wrong, how we centralized them in the past, and how now we're going to decentralize them, and this is how we're going to kick all the men out. We're still just sitting and talking about men. You realize that, right? So I would like to propose, and here's what I'll say actually before I say that. I understand that when you're trying to untangle yourself from a situation, oftentimes you have to vilify in order to create the distance between that and the thing that you were entangled with. So to me, that's kind of the energy of decentralized men. That's what that energy gives. I challenge the women around me to elevate past that and step into re-centralizing yourself. Oh, when you re-centralize yourself, you put your well-being first, you put your mental health first, you put yourself in the center of your life. So that is my challenge. Can we move from decentralizing men to simply centralizing ourselves? When I discuss centralizing myself, men aren't even a part of the equation. Do you see the difference? When we are in a mindset of decentralizing men, if you add law of attraction into that, you're actually going from centralizing them to now the idea of decentralizing them, but men are always just still at the center. So this trend of decentralizing men, it is a step towards independence and self-fulfillment, and women's want to kind of step out of these gender roles. However, we're not actually seeing that you're still fixated on the thing that you don't want. And if you are a believer of law of attraction, which obviously you are if you're here, focusing on the thing that you don't want is still focusing on that thing. If you're sitting here telling everybody I'm decentralizing men, you're still talking about men, and how much energy are you leaving behind to actually think, where am I going with this? What do I want to be at the center of my life? What does that look like? Is it health? Is it friends? Is it work? What are you filling up your life with? Our focus should be on what we want to manifest, not on the things that we're trying to avoid. And when we make our theme decentralized men, we are inadvertently staying focused on men. So what do? We actually shift the focus inward. To realign with the law of attraction, it's essential to shift the focus from what we want to remove from our lives to what we want to nurture within ourselves. Re-centralizing oneself means making self-discovery, self-growth, and self-love the center focus. And by doing so, we can attract positive energies, experiences, and relationships that align with our newfound sense of self. Re-centralizing yourself, it's not about rejecting relationships or the male presence completely. Instead, it should be about finding a harmonious balance between independence and connection. So in order to re-centralize yourself, you shouldn't have to reject all relationships. You shouldn't have to get rid of all men from your life. By focusing on self-alignment and personal fulfillment, you can attract partners who resonate with their authentic selves, fostering healthier, more fulfilling relationships. What does this actually look like practically? I think that me as a wife, as a mother, as a member of my community, as a person with their own business, I live by the 1/3 law. I try to divide my groups between my own smaller family, which would be my husband and my kids, 1/3. 1/3 between my community, and that means friends, family, extended family, nurturing those relationships, and then 1/3 between my own personal development, in terms of my career, personal development, things that I enjoy, my hobbies, things that just fill up the heart of my inner 9-year-old girl. I think if you can find a balance between all of those things and kind of make sure that you're nourishing those 3 sections of your life, then you can find balance. And at the center of it, keep in mind that if your cup is not full, if you're not nourishing yourself, if you're not taking care of your mental health and your physical health and your spiritual health, you can't actually do all the rest of the things 100% at all anyway. So centering those 3 things, actually, like first and foremost, mental health, physical health, spiritual health, that's first and foremost, because I can't really attend to my community. I can't join the groups and do all those things. I can't nourish my children in the way that they need to be nourished or be an example or a role model for them. I can't pay attention to my husband or do anything for him if my cup is not first full. So yeah, keep yourself at the center of the thing. And I would challenge women to replace decentralizing men with centralize yourself, aka be the main character of your story. The more you protest something, the more you focus on it, it actually grows bigger. And there's a concept from Vidam Zealand and his book called Reality Transurfing called pendulums. Pendulums are things that are thought forms. And so the more you think about it, the bigger the pendulum grows, the higher and stronger it swings. So whether you're thinking negative about it or you're thinking positively about it, it still is actually feeding off of simply your thoughts. And when I think about the idea of decentralizing men, it's like if men are the thought form, whether you're putting them at the center of your life or you're protesting so hard and you're hating everything about them, they're still the center of your life. So if we could take the word men out of the equation, see what's left over after that. Like what's left over if you just take, I hate it, I love it, it's the center of my world. No, it's not. If you remove all of that out of your equation completely, what are you left with? What do you want to be there? What would you want to be the center of your existence once you're done hating the men? And then once you can kind of, get into that question. That's the actual question behind all of these conversations. And I think that some people are kind of missing it because it's just a little bit of a more elevated way of thinking about the situation. So if you first have to hate the men to decentralize them out of your life, that's the path. But I encourage you to get past that portion of it and get into, what am I filling up the void with? What's going to be put into that area of my life now? And then how do I reintegrate healthy relationships that are beneficial to me, that are in alignment with me nourishing myself, and support all of that? How can you reintegrate relationships? Because the truth is, having a good relationship that is supportive of you is the foundation so that you can support yourself. Life is meant to be a team effort, and whether you have a relationship or you rely on your community or you get fulfillment from work, you have to kind of have a little mix of everything so that you aren't reliant totally on one thing and you're out of balance. And that way, if some, God forbid, one of those chairs of the leg falls out, you can still stand because you haven't neglected the other areas of your life so much that you have nothing to fall back on. So that's my 2 cents, ladies. I think that it's a wonderful thing to see people getting more in alignment and nourishing themselves and getting into being the main character of their own lives. However, I want to bring in the concept of centralizing yourself versus focusing on decentralizing men, because you can do both. So thank you so much. Those are my thoughts. And if you've made it this far, like and subscribe. It really helps. Thanks. Bye.